Welcome to another On Deck Baseball gameplay tutorial video. Today we're going to be featuring On Deck Baseball Pro. It's the newest version of On Deck Baseball featuring MLB's greatest teams from throughout history of this great game. Today we're going to be talking about the advanced mechanics of the On Deck Baseball Pro version, the G Plus and the F Plus results on the back of the batter's card. These results are only found on the batter's cards matrix. I'll show you a little bit what I'm talking about here. There's a G Plus there and an F Plus there. And these are basically to say that it is a defensive check to see if the ball either got into the hole or if the batter was able to beat out an infield base hit. For the purposes of today's demonstration, we're going to be using a 1984 Detroit American League team who went pretty far in the 1984 postseason, as I'm sure you guys are well aware of, and 1977 Philadelphia National League. The Detroit team will be utilizing the lineups from the American League Championship in 1984. Again, this is the advanced mechanics of On Deck Baseball Pro. You can pick and choose kind of an a la carte system of how you would like to play the game, your comfort level, and playability for your enjoyment. We're going to go ahead and go through a couple of batters here in the Detroit lineup, and I have the Philadelphia team on defense in sequential order. So we have Steve Carlton pitching, Bob Boone catching, Davey Johnson at first, Ted Sizemore at second, Mike Schmidt third base, Larry Boa, shortstop, and in the outfield we have Greg Luzinski, the bull, in left, Gary Maddox in center, and Bake McBride in right. So we'll go ahead and play through a couple of scenarios here just so you guys can get a look at it and get used to how these mechanics are pulled off. So we're going to go ahead and imagine that we've already rolled a G+. So we're going to roll a red 4 and a blue 8. Now the amount of results of the G Plus and the F Plus, for that matter, are based off of a combination of different attributes on the front of the batter's card. So there will be different amounts per player on the back of their matrix, on the back of their cards in their matrix. So again, we're going to go ahead and imagine that we already rolled the G Plus. We're going to roll to see which fielder in the infield is going to be taking care of that G Plus on the G column on their out chart for that batter. We're going to go ahead and roll one die. It doesn't matter if it's red or blue. And we roll an 8. So an 8 goes to the catcher. So it's a little dribbler out front. We're going to see if Larry Boa can shoot it over to Davey Johnson covering first. Now the G Plus is going to go off of the infielder's arm. So we're kind of lucky in that Bob Boone has a strong arm behind the plate. He is a 4 arm or a -4 arm. And we're going to be using the risk chart for that G+, and a 4 arm is going to give us this row right here, which means we have a 40% chance of beating it out for an infield hit. We're going to go ahead and roll one die. Again, doesn't matter if it's red or blue. We roll a 5, and it looks like Boa got out of the crouch and shot it over to Johnson for the out. Lou Whitaker does not get an infield base hit. We'll go ahead and go through that a couple more times. We have Alan Trammell now up next in Detroit lineup. We're going to go ahead and imagine that we rolled a red 5 and a blue 8. We're going to roll one die again on the G column of his out chart, see what infielder went to. And that goes to the first baseman. So that means Davey Johnson is diving over to his right. He has a 2 arm. He's going to try and shoot it over to Carlton to get the out. So a 2 arm on the risk first base chart gives us a 60% chance of legging it out for an infield single. We're going to go ahead and roll one die. We roll a 7, and it looks like Johnson shot it over to Steve Carlton just in time to get the out. And one more time now for that G Plus result. We're going to have Gibby coming up to the plate. He was a 5 speed in 1984, had pretty good speed up until those debilitating leg injuries of his. And we're going to imagine that we went ahead and rolled a red 2 and a blue 6, which would net us a G+. We're going to go ahead again, roll one die on the G chart, sorry, the G column. We roll a 6, and that goes to the second baseman. Second baseman is Ted Sizemore, who is a 3 arm. So a 3 arm risk first base chart, and we have a 60-40 shot of Gibby legging it out for an infield hit. We'll roll one die again. We roll a 5, and Gibson is safe with an infield base hit to second base. He reaches for a base hit. So that is the G plus. Now again, if you roll a G plus, that is the only out you can get is at first base. That means that the ball is in the hole, and the only chance at an out the infielder has is shooting it over to first, and all other runners will advance one base. So that means if you have a runner on third, that runner will score, as the fielder only has a shot at first for an out. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do the F plus result now. The F plus is going to mean that we're going to check the outfielder to see if that ball was in the gap or if the outfielder was able to make a play on it. We're going to go ahead and just go down to our outfielders here. And in the outfield we have the Bull in left, Gary Maddox in center, and Bake McBride in right. Now if it does fall in for a hit, all runners, including that batter who reaches, has the chance to risk an additional base based on the fielder's arm using the chart associated with that base, the risk chart. But we'll get there. We're going to go ahead and see if the ball falls in first. So we have Lance Parrish now up. We're going to imagine that we rolled a red 7 and a blue 5. And we're going to do the same thing to see which outfielder it goes to. So we're going to roll off of the F column now on the outs chart. Have our 1 die here. I roll a 4, and that goes over to the Bull in left. Greg Luzinski, the weaker of the outfielders for Philadelphia, he is only a -2. And we're going to do what is a confrontation roll now between the defense of the outfielder and the gap rating of the batter. So we're going to go ahead and do a -2 against a 2 gap, which is a wash. So there is no advantage on the fielder or batter here. We're going to roll 1 die. If it's a 6 and up, that means that the batter reaches first. If it is a 5 and below, that means that the outfielder made the play. So we're going to go ahead and roll the 1 die. We roll a 5. Greg Luzinski, believe it or not, was able to leg it out and took in the ball for the out. So Lance Parrish is now out on a fly out to left. I'm going to do that one more time with Larry Herndon now. He is a 3 gap, so we'll see where he hits it and see if he has an advantage. So we're going to go ahead and imagine that we rolled a red 6 and blue 6, which netted us an F plus. And we're going to roll off of that F column to see what outfielder it goes to. It goes to the right fielder, which the right fielder is Bake McBride. Bake McBride is a 4 defender. Larry Herndon is a 3 gap. So now it's going to be a -1 advantage to the outfielder on a confrontation roll using the 1 die again. Again, with that -1 applied to the roll, if it's 6 and above, it will be falling in for a base hit, 5 or below, and it will be an out. We roll 1 die. Roll a 9. A 9 -1 is 8, and that means Larry Herndon has now reached on a single to right field, and he has the chance to advance to second if he wants, based on the fielder's arm and the risk to be chart. Bake McBride is a -2 arm, so he's a 2 arm here, and that gives us a 40% chance of legging that gap hit into a double. I'm not sure that we would do that in game, but I'll go ahead and roll it just to see how it plays out here. So Larry Herndon making a turn, trying to stretch it into a double. We roll the die, we roll a 10, and he is out just by slim pickings. Almost got a safe there, but Larry Herndon is out trying to stretch a single into a double. That is Larry Herndon. We'll go ahead and do one more. Barbaro Garby here. He was the DH in 1984. And we'll go ahead and imagine that we went ahead and rolled red 9 and blue 2, which netted us an F plus. We'll go ahead and roll on the F column of our outs chart to see where the outfielder goes to. And it goes to the right fielder again. Right fielder is Bake McBride. He is that -4 defender. Now remember, confrontation roll for the initial mechanic against the right fielder's defense and the batter's gap, which is a 3, so it's a -1 on a roll again. 6 and above, base hit. 5 and below, it is an out. -1 plus 6 is a 5, which means that Bake McBride was able to pull it in for the out, and Barbaro Garby is out. No base hit there. So that is the F plus, as we went over the G plus earlier and the F plus in this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. As always, if you could, hit that thumbs up, share the video, leave a comment, subscribe, do everything you can, and I really appreciate it. That helps these videos gain traction, gets the name of On Deck Baseball out there. And as always, I appreciate you spending some time with me. And have a great day. Thank you.